What is up, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to Pull Up with Myles and Owen. Today, we welcome back to the show an extremely special guest who needs no introduction. But here's the thing, we don't have Tierra Whack intro music over here, so I have to fill the top portion of the show somehow. She's an NCAA champion, a WNBA champion. She co-hosts the brilliant podcast Unsupervised with Syd and TP alongside Teresa Plaisance. And she's in the booth as an analyst at Athletes Unlimited. Sydney Colson, thank you so much for joining us. How's it going?
What's up, Owen? What's up, Myles? Good to see you guys again.
Likewise. We want to start and jump right into it with the AU broadcasting setup because we were there in Nashville opening night. They have a hoop for you to get shots up like in the breaks. How has that experience been like for you both, like when you're on air and then the fun of the commercial breaks even?
Oh, it's been so cool. Yeah, they got like a cool setup up there now. Like we didn't have this last year, and so there's a goal in there. They've got a rack with these like foam balls up there, and we play this thing called Syd ball whenever I have guests at halftime. So there's a little interview area. Like it's cool. We get to just like shoot during the game sometimes. Like if somebody doesn't move, the analyst Kevin, he'll like dunk on me or like do some move that they did. We'll just try to like reenact it. But it's been fun. It's been cool so far.
At the time of this recording, to no one's surprise, Odyssey Sims is at the top of the leaderboard. That's just an annual thing at AU.
Yeah, right.
But who's a name or two that has really showed out to you and surprised you now that you have a different perspective?
Rebecca Gardner has been really good. And I'm trying to see who else is in the overall. Natasha Mack actually in the last game, she was my like standout player so far. I think I know the scout from the W, but people come to AU when you're able to show more, especially offensively, than sometimes what you're able to do in the W. And yeah, she's just a worker. Like she just plays hard. She's very I don't even know if efficient is the word on defense, but she's very locked in. Like you could tell that she enjoys that side of the court. But yeah, she like stepping out, shooting some threes because I would see her doing it in like the practices or in shoot around. I was like, okay, I didn't know that was part of her game, but to see her shoot it in the game, and she's just having fun. I hadn't seen this side of her in the W, so I like when I'm able to see like another side of people when they come to AU and get some more confidence or get to just do more.
That's one of the best parts of the format is that with the weekly turnover, like there's no time to think. You're just hooping. You're out there. It's such like genuine basketball kind of at its core.
Exactly. And the same for Beck Gardner. Like obviously we know her story that she was like a 30-year-old rookie and stuff, but she's a vet. She's played overseas many years, now in the W for many years, and she's just very efficient here. Like she doesn't really take bad shots. She doesn't force anything. She's just like solid. So I enjoy watching her too.
Talking about just the efficiency, AU levels up every year, and now adding you and TP to the production. Just gotta ask you real quick. Can you give her a grade on her in-arena host? Just an assessment of how TP has gone so far and how she's grown?
Yeah, she's done such a good job in my opinion, and like she was like nervous at first and maybe like nervous at times just because it's a lot of like you have a script, but then you got to add stuff. And I'm like, girl, this is just like improv with which you're good at. Like, yeah, maybe we haven't taken enough classes. Like we only did it on our show, but you have a knack for it. She can just walk into a room and talk to people. I'm like, just do that. Like, and so she's been killing it with Olivia, and I feel like she's gotten more comfortable like as the games have gone on. And I was like, yeah, we both are in positions where unfortunately we couldn't play this season, but we're still getting to be a part of AU in this way and be forward facing. And I was like, it's just another opportunity for you to find out if you like something else. Like you never know if you might want to start hosting more stuff. So this is a good opportunity. So I give her an A for that reason, just for being new and still doing a good job.
Speaking of TP, the podcast is brilliant. And if it wasn't clear from me invoking Tierra Whack at the top of the show, she's like one of my favorite artists in the world.
Yeah,
so I have to ask about this. Like, how did that collab come to be? And what was your reaction when you heard the track for the first time? It had to be like incredible excitement.
Yeah, so her and I met in 24 when we were playing New York in the playoffs. Like we had met in a regular season game, and then what was it? I think I might have hit her and been like, "Yo, you gotta pull up to the next game when we play them in the playoffs, like when we're back in Brooklyn." So she was there, and Issa Rae was also there. She took a picture of me. I was like, "Yo, get this picture of me with Issa." She took it, sent it to me, and then her and I just started like talking more. And I told her, I was like, "Look," because TP and I didn't have the podcast at this time, but I'm like, "Yo, I'm gonna hit you to be on like season 2 of our show, or hopefully when we get our podcast off the ground and stuff, like come be on it, come chop it up with us." And she was like, "Yeah, for sure, hit me whenever." But people will say hit me whenever, and they don't hit back. So I hit her once we got the podcast, and we were talking about a theme song, and we were going through like instrumentals and different music trying to see what sounded like us. And I was like, "Wait a minute, let me hit Tierra actually and see if she would put something down for us." So I hit her. She was like, "Let me go through some songs and see if I have anything that like matches y'all." And then she ended up just scratching that and giving us something obviously like original and brilliant that only she could do, I feel like. And just the tempo of it, the energy, everything about it just matches us. So every time I even hear it now, I'm just like, the fact that we have Tierra on for our theme song is just crazy. It blows my mind every time.
It's so perfect. It's one of one, and it really does like set the energy for every
It,
episode. It's just like
it does. I love that you love her though. She's so talented.
she's the best. She's the best.
Yeah, seriously.
How do you prep for the podcast? Because obviously this is something we have experience with. Now you're
Yeah,
in the podcast game, and it's such a
yeah.
genuine flow to every conversation. You could be talking about
Mm-hmm.
such a wide array of topics. Are you like
Mm-hmm.
planning that ahead of time, or are you like we're just gonna
Yeah.
go where this takes us?
So like we plan stuff like really once we finish recording like on a Monday typically we'll review the episode, like they send it to us to review, and then once the episode once the live like the recording stops, we're already like going over what we said, what we liked. If something else happens like the rest of that day, we're like, "Oh, we got to talk about this on the next episode." So our conversations just every day, if we start a convo, sometimes we'll be like, "Stop, we got to just finish that on the pod though." So I don't know all of your opinions right now, just give it to me, like, remember this topic, we'll write it down, we're like, let's talk about it next Monday. So a lot of the times we don't even finish conversations in real life because we're like, "I just want to hear what you have to say live," so there's a genuine reaction. But yeah, it's constant planning because we talk like all day, we don't stop talking. So we just have to sift through the content of what we say and see what we like. um but yeah, I think it's also easy because we're friends and genuinely like talking to each other, so it's easy for us to just like riff off one another too, which I feel like y'all are good at too. But were y'all friends before? Were y'all cool before
Yeah, yeah. And
the
I
pod?
think
Okay.
our podcast. I was going to say that sounds so familiar because we were just like in bars post game
Yeah.
after we wrap, and then we're just like,
Yes.
this is a conversation that other people would care about, or driving home from practice or whatever. And
Exactly.
it's something that I love about you guys, where I think with us having guests on, there's a little bit
Yeah.
more structure, but
Yeah.
there's so much random chaos that can just
Yeah.
lead
Yeah.
to really like real shit. And there's an authenticity to your conversations where like you can be joking about something, and then suddenly talking about the systemic bullshit that we've got going on in our country,
Yeah.
and it really resonates. And I think that that's something that we've talked to you about. How
Hmm.
has this kind of leadership that you've done by either through the PEC at AU
Hmm.
or through this podcast and these conversations helped you find your voice on a wide diverse range of topics?
I think there's so much more content of me being silly and me being the funny teammate and the goofy one messing with, my teammates, that the things that I say that have depth get overlooked. And so I was
Mhm.
excited for us to have a podcast. I think a lot of times people mistake silliness and goofiness for stupidity. And I'm like, we have a lot of depth, we have a lot of sides, we have a lot of emotions about things, and we care a lot about the issues that affect, women, queer people, black people, marginalized communities, whatever it is. Like, we have a lot to say, and we were intentional when we started our podcast about wanting to spread kindness, like joy, humor, and like relate to people on these things. And then once you have people feeling like they're relating to you, they're more willing to listen. They trust you more. They're more willing to hear a different point of view. And I think it matters a lot that TP and I are masculine presenting black and white women that are best friends, and people see like our genuine connection. And I think we break down a lot of walls just by being us, and we make people question a lot of things that they might believe, either about gay people, about black people, about whatever. Just our interaction makes you wonder, like, oh, well, like, I'm intrigued. I want to hear more, and actually I agree with that viewpoint. So it's always been our intention to show more layers of ourselves so that people don't get it twisted that we're just like clowning around all the time.
I love that so much. I think that it comes across so clearly in the flow of the episodes. And it is something that I think we've talked about before too, that it's like you sometimes get pigeonholed as the comedian of the WNBA or something like that. And that isn't the whole picture. And same with the basketball too. Like, the fact that you were on the floor in Game 4 of the WNBA Finals, clinching it for the Aces, etc., making the pass against Stanford. We could go on and on down the highlights, but we don't have the time, unfortunately. Before we get you out of here, you mentioned recently on the podcast you're looking for new hobbies. Have you found any yet?
Yeah, man. I'm actually. I gotta do this on our pod, but like I've got a yo-yo I bought and everything. So I just need to get a new string. I don't like the way that this one's falling. I might have to cut it. But this is what I'm focusing on, because I used to love yo-yoing when I was younger, and haven't done it in like 2 decades probably. So I'm very, very serious about learning how to do new tricks. This is my beginner yo-yo, so hopefully by like end of year, I'm looking at like an advanced one or at least intermediate. So I'll keep y'all posted on that though. But that's one.
A couple of weeks ago, Owen and I went with a couple of friends to a bowling alley, and that's a deep level of friendship for me, because if I'm not good at a sport, I do not want to be doing it in front of people. And I remember when I was trying to yo-yo when I was in elementary school, I was like, I must have a busted one, like this basic one. Doesn't do all the tricks. It had nothing to do with my skill level. It was all about
just blaming the yo-yo.
just blaming the yo-yo. One last thing for you before you get out.
Yeah.
We ask the cliche question all the time to athletes about your welcome to the W moment. But because you're such a well-rounded person, I want to go the other way. What was your welcome to comedy moment when you were getting into a new field?
Shoot, great question. I think probably the feedback that I got on the Anita Baker video. Like, I mention that all the time, but I think it was just the reception by people and me finally doing like a longer video, and not just like 15 seconds. This one was like a minute, and the feedback was good, and people were just like encouraging, like, what, you got to be doing more. So it's either that, or when I did stand up for the first time, I posted it, and like 6 months later, Roy Wood Jr. like DM me and was giving me advice about it, and I just wasn't expecting that, because I used to listen to him like on the radio growing up in Houston. He would do like these prank calls with Ricky Smiley and stuff, and it was just a really cool moment that felt like full circle. This comedian that I used to watch on like Comic View or listen to on the radio was like giving me advice now. So now me and TP, we shook that we gotta go do stand up here in Nashville before we leave. So moments like that just like fueled me to definitely just like keep going and keep writing and keep working.
That's not good news for Myles and my wallet, because if you guys do stand up in Nashville, we are so there.
I don't know how long it'll be, so y'all don't make the trip. Because if it's just a 5-minute set, like no, we'll post it for you. So.
No, that would be worth it. Would be worth it. Is it more nerve wracking to stand up on the stand up comedy stage or play in the WNBA finals?
I think both of them are the same. That like you can have nerves going into something, but it's more just like butterflies of like, oh, this moment, and then once it starts, it's just like, oh, whatever. It's just a thing to do.
Thanks.
You know, it's just performing.
Yeah, it's natural.
Absolutely.
Sid,
thank you so much. This is always such a pleasure to chat with you.
Yeah, I'm sorry we got rushed, guys. You know, I always enjoy talking to y'all.
This is the best. This is the best. And you're crushing it, and we're rooting for you, and there's a lot of going on between now and whenever the next W season is. So we'll be in touch, and we'll...
Please be in touch, and next time make sure I can see y'all in person when we're in the same place.
Absolutely. Thank you, Syd,
so much.
No, thank you guys.
Thank you again to Sydney Colson for joining us. Syd's the best. This was the absolute best energy and one of my favorite players that we've now had on the pod a couple of times. But Owen, what were your takeaways from just that conversation?
Yeah, Sydney's the absolute best. I think that no one could make a 15-minute convo that exciting and fun and wide-ranging like Syd can. Obviously, I was very psyched to talk about Tierra Whack because that is my favorite musical artist in the world, and the intro music is so phenomenal for their podcast, and their podcast is so phenomenal. So yeah, Syd just has the ability to like make anyone at ease and be so funny and so kind and so thoughtful when she joins the show or is on her own show. So immense gratitude to her.
And I think it's something we've talked about a lot, and something that she gave voice to herself is just the public perception and kind of the role that she plays as just that jokester and that kidder. But like we've gotten to see mostly, I think for me, it started at AU when she was really one of those voices that was creating this league and taking on all of that leadership that like it didn't click. It was like, this is the person who's just pranking Asia Wilson all the time at practice. Like, how is this the leader? And we've seen it with every team that she's been on. We've seen it and heard about it through her work ethic and just how real she is about everything. And she's just such a value add in a million different ways. And I can't be happier to have had her on here now multiple times as one of our few repeat guests.
I've honestly gotten defensive of Sydney's career in multiple moments because I'm just like, she was a massive part of championship teams. She is a incredible veteran of professional basketball. It's such an astounding career just on the court before you consider everything off the court. Shout out to Syd. That's a wrap. Thank you all so much for listening. Don't forget to subscribe and tell your friends to subscribe to our Patreon page for some really exciting bonus content. We've got uncut interviews with players, in-depth analysis of Unrivaled, Athletes Unlimited, the NCAA W season, so much more. New episodes of Pull Up with Myles and Owen are coming at you week after week now. You don't want to miss those, so follow the show wherever you listen to podcasts.
We're super grateful for all of the support we've had with our Pull Up with Myles and Owen audience, but also with the Step Back Patreon audience, which is starting to grow. We want to be consistent there. So you're getting our voices, not just with guests, but also just hearing our thoughts on wide-ranging topics, kind of like Syd and TP are doing with Unsupervised. For more great coverage of all things W, follow the podcast wherever you listen so you don't miss an episode. You can follow Pull Up and leave a rating and a review for us on your podcast player of choice. Follow the podcast on Instagram at Pull Up with Myles and Owen, and subscribe to our YouTube channel where we have the full episodes. And then you can follow me on Twitter at Myles Ehrlich.
You can follow me on Twitter if you have earplugs at Owen Pence. Stay tuned and we'll see you next week. Pull Up with Myles and Owen is hosted by Myles Ehrlich and Owen Pence. This episode was written and produced by Myles Ehrlich, Owen Pence, and Molly Socha. Molly Socha is our executive producer. Special thank you to Sam Barber and Scott Miranda for making this interview happen, and of course, to Sydney Colson for sharing her time with us.